are going to have more than a 55% strike rate against the BJP in 75 seats where you are head to head. That's what you are saying.
Yeah, definitely. If you see the vote share percentage of Lok Sabha, if you see from 2019, our vote share of our alliance had
Sir,
improved by
see the
almost
vote share
10%.
percentage in the areas where you did well between Lok Sabha and this time Vidhan Sabha. That should ring some alarm bells for you. That's what I am trying to say. Okay, let Shehzad come in. Yes, Shehzad. ये तो कह रहे हैं विदर्भ महाराष्ट्र, ये विदर्भ और मराठवाड़ा यही जीत रहे हैं वापस. 75 में से कम 50 सीट जीतेंगे तभी 88 आएगा इनका.
देखिए आनंद जी, वो तो हरियाणा के चुनाव में क्या जीत रहे थे, कितना जीत रहे थे, वो जलेबी बांटने लग गए थे मिस्टर पवन खेड़ा, फिर वो जलेबी हम लोगों को खानी पड़ी. तो एनीवेज उनको ख्याली पुलाव जो है पकाने दीजिए, कोई उसमें वो नहीं है, रोक नहीं है. पर देखिए एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ ओपिनियन और एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ भावना इज अलाउड इन पॉलिटिक्स. एवरीवन हैज एम्बिशन. सो एकनाथ शिंदे जी, पीपल विल से एकनाथ जी मस्ट बिकम द सीएम अगेन एंड वी रिस्पेक्ट दैट. Somebody may say Ajit Dada must become the CM. We respect that. Somebody may say Fadnavis ji may become CM. We respect that. But the decision of the alliance as a whole, articulated by all the top leaders, is only one that we will decide once the seats are there, and we are very confident we are winning. But
purely on kiski kitni sankhya bhari,
and of Anand.
जी.
And it is very clear. But in the case of Sanjay Raut and Uddhav Thackeray's chief spokesperson Anand Dubey, I am showing the statement. महाविकास आघाड़ी की सरकार आने के बाद उद्धव ठाकरे ही सीएम बनेंगे. दिस मींस देयर इज नो स्कोप फॉर डिस्कशन. दे आर टेलिंग कांग्रेस तुम्हारी जितनी सीट आई आने दो, हम ही बनेंगे. वैसे तो गांव बसा नहीं, लुटेरे पहले आ गए. बट दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन आवर अलायंस एंड देयर अलायंस. आवर अलायंस इज सेइंग वी हैव अ मिशन एंड विजन फॉर द स्टेट, हुएवर बिकम्स सीएम. दे आर सेइंग नो मिशन नो विजन. अपना एम्बिशन है, एम्बिशन पूरा नहीं हुआ
Here
तो
is what my
डिवीजन
concern is. Here is what my concern is, Kailash Adhikari, when all this posturing is happening, and Rashid Kitwai, please, after Kailash Adhikari, that there is going to be one more Pala Badlo. Okay, you know, that is what, if the results are somewhere around 155 seats, 160 seats, one way or the other, then there will be a lot of Pala Badlo based on kaun banega Mukhyamantri or kisko milegi kursi. Kailash Adhikari, do you believe that is a possibility?
You know, Anand, in Indian politics, that can be a possibility anytime. But firstly, if you look at the numbers here and what the exit polls are predicting, and not just one, there are various which are being broadcasted on your screen right now, clearly shows a majority to the NDA Sarkar and to the Mahayuti. In fact, as Mr. Shehzad Poonawalla also said, that, you know, in politics, when you have, and now Maharashtra is facing a 6-party fight. Earlier, it was not so. So for the first time, it's a 6-party fight, 3 on one side, 3 on one side. And there are people, there are karyakartas, they have their own morals, they have their own thinking, and you can't stop each and every one of them by speaking if they feel that this should be the CM or that should be the CM. But at the end of the day, when the numbers come out, when the Janta Janardhan, the spirit of our democracy votes in, and the numbers come out as that is what truly, it decides. And the true alliance is that, like Mr. Poonawalla said, that when the entire alliance partners sit together and decide on a united face coming together. Now, coming to what Mr. Patel said in the beginning, that, you know, the mandate was in 2019 where the Congress and the, at that time, the NCP and the Shiv Sena, the mandate was not for them. The mandate was for the Bharatiya Janata Party around 104, 105 seats, plus Shiv Sena, I think around 63 or 64 seats, if I'm not mistaken, approximately. But then it was a certain ambition of the Shiv Sena at that particular, the then Shiv Sena at that particular point of time, where they actually backstabbed the people of Maharashtra, and they went to the other side, leaving behind and butchering the entire philosophy of Shiv Sena for so many years, which was set up by Hindu Hriday Samrat Shri Balasaheb Thackeray ji. So people know that, you know, what has particularly happened. And I believe that the voter of this state, and not only of this state, but the entire nation, is a very informed voter. He votes looking at the various agendas, and we have seen
but what is the point? What is the point? As a former Mumbaikar, I echo this sentiment of a lot of Mumbaikars and lot of people who live in Maharashtra. अरे वोट देके क्या फायदा? रिजल्ट आने के बाद कौन किधर जाएगा हमारे कंट्रोल में थोड़ी है. The point is this is the pet peeve of the people of Maharashtra. I voted for this
And this time
candidate
the
thinking
voting
that they are
percentage
part
has
of this
also
grouping,
increased.
and come
Voting
the result
percentage has
is
also increased, Anand. So we can't take Maharashtrians and the people living in Maharashtra. And I refer to Maharashtrians as those people living in Maharashtra. I'm a proud Mumbaikar myself. I'm born and brought up in Mumbai. So it's not that. Like I have seen people voting, and I myself in the early wee hours of morning I have voted. So this time the polling percentage has also increased by 5%.
Correct. I agree. I'm not saying that people are not voting. What I'm trying to say is the sentiment is मैं वोट तो करूंगा, लेकिन जिसको वोट करूंगा वो किसके पाले में जाके चुनाव के रिजल्ट डे के बाद बैठेगा. I have no control over that. I voted for somebody and a particular combination in 2019 and see what happened. That's one point. But Rashid Kitwai, look at what's happening with the Congress party. The weakest link or the poorest party in terms of strike rate in 2019. The strongest party, or perhaps no longer a kamzor kadi, many called it the resurgence. I remember Ritesh Deshmukh coming out and saying, oh, finally the Congress has come back. What a comeback for it. He's campaigned for his brothers this time around. And there was a sentiment among a lot of Congresses that happened with June 2024 Maharashtra result. And look at November. All the pollsters are saying the weakest link in the Mahavikas Agadi is the Congress. Whether the Congress forms, whether the Mahavikas Agadi forms the government or gets the numbers or not, the prediction largely is the Congress is the weakest link.
And we'll get to see that. But the most important point is that the Congress, lacks a face in Maharashtra. So if you look at, all other 5 political parties, they have very chief ministerial aspirants and contender. If I ask you who's a Congress, chief ministerial, candidate or a face, you will perhaps struggle. I mean,
you are trolling Nana Patole.
Yeah,
तो
Nana
खुले आप
Patole
नाना
is
पटोले को
not-
ट्रोल कर रहे हो आप.
Yeah, no, it is a fact of the matter. In fact, Rahul Gandhi in the internal meetings of the Congress party has told them in so many words, make sacrifices. He knows that the only reason why Uddhav Thackeray, ditched BJP was the office of chief minister.
Right.
So Uddhav Thackeray would want the office of chief minister. Otherwise, if he wants to become deputy CM, Mr. Shehzad Poonawala's party would perhaps oblige him if he, even joins tomorrow. So that possibility is there. So there are few characters like Ajit Pawar, who has been, deputy chief minister in all 3 regimes. Now he wants to be the chief minister. So and Mr. Eknath Shinde, there are some contenders, very strong contenders. The Congress does not have a strong.
What about Supriya Sule and Mr. Sharad Pawar? Mr. Sharad Pawar, before he retires from active politics, because he's very keen to do that, his age and his health do not permit him beyond what he's actually pulled off this time around. And let's just hope that he lives long and he continues to be there in the backside, advising and being a margdarshak. But he would want to see Supriya Sule there. And if the NCP comes out with a strike rate far better than the Congress party, look at the projections. The numbers are being put. The NCP is expected to get up to 38 seats out of the 80 odd that they are contesting, compared to the maximum of 32 seats that the Congress is predicted by some of the parties out of 102 they are contesting. So Sharad Pawar will turn around and say Supriya Sule ko banao. So I am asking you, if tomorrow Mahayuti has 160 seats and Ajit Dada Pawar has 20 seats, is Mahavikas Agadi forming the government then?
I would like to say that we will cross the numbers. It's no matter of 160 of Yuti and then 20 seats of Ajit Dada Pawar. We are saying that we are going to cross that mark along with our Mahavikas Agadi. If you see...
let me ask you the same question. If Mahavikas Agadi tomorrow has 160 seats and Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray Shiv Sena has 25 seats, कौन बनेगा मुख्यमंत्री?
We can repeat 2019, no issues. It's a matter of discussion, and we can form a government. But you can see how Bharatiya Janata Party works, and that is the mindset of Bharatiya Janata Party. And people have given the thought process of that verdict in 2024 Lok Sabha election. If you see, Congress was with the maximum seats. Now, if you see Narendra Modi ji during Madhya Pradesh election said that there are Brashtacharis and with the names on the public platform, and after that you are making someone who is a deputy chief minister. This is what people have eradicated.
I think
from his
all that is water under the bridge with this election. This election is going to
Anand,
decide.
just one
See,
line.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you.
definitely.
And
Just
you,
one line.
there is a lot at stake. On a serious note,
Just
just
one line.
yes, Shehzad, one line and then yeah.
See, Nikulji, as much as I think he's a very good analyst and spokesperson for his cause, he has said that we can repeat 2019, but Rashid Kidwai covers the official Congress party, and Rashid Kidwai will tell you that this is not the official line of the Congress, that we are already okay for deciding the 2019 pattern. If it is, then Rashid ji, who has covered and he covers Congress extensively, he must clarify that is this the official Congress line?
Sir, no, the official Congress voice is very clear. He just said Nana Patole is not a chief ministerial face and Supriya Sule is for the center. Then who's left? So Nikul Patel and Rashid Kidwai are actually aligned. They are sitting diagonally on the screen, but they are quite aligned. They are quite aligned in their thought process.
Cesar, I have already said that.
They're quite aligned. So this is how they are. Diagonally, they're quite aligned in
Cesar,
their.
don't mess up everything. I have already said that definitely after the numbers, all will stick together.
But the
and
thought
what we
process,
say,
the
we
thought
form the
process.
government. But over here, it was the opinion asked by
It's
Anand,
the
I
same.
think, and then I have replied to that.
It's the same as battoge to kattoge and ek hai to safe hai. Both mean the same thing. One sounds better than the other and more plausible and less bhayanak. That's how it is. That's exactly what the two of them have said and done today. But Kailash Adhikari, my question to you is, this is, and on a serious note also, this is a matter of relevance because of the key fights. One, BJP versus Congress, 75 seats. Who gets the bragging rights ahead of the winter session of Parliament? Shiv Sena versus Shiv Sena. Eknath Shinde versus Uddhav Thackeray. 51 seats. Who gets the bragging rights? Legacy fight. 40 odd seats, if my memory serves me right, between NCP Sharad Pawar and NCP Ajit Pawar. Again, who gets the bragging rights in terms of conversion there? Obviously, then legacy matters will be settled. Relevance matters will be settled. Leadership and future will be settled. So there is a lot riding on this, and whoever has the best strike rate will want to claim a larger share of the pie. Kailash Adhikari.
You're absolutely right, Anand. This Maharashtra elections, and I believe that all my co-panelists will certainly believe that this is a very momentous Maharashtra state elections, because as I said in the beginning also, it is not just, earlier it was always a four-party fight, two in alliance, BJP, Shiv Sena, the NCP and the Congress, what we have seen historically, but this time it is a six-party fight. Even the voters, and it was also the same during the Lok Sabha. So in Vidhan Sabha, naturally, the issues are slightly different, where people vote for the Vidhan Sabha. And we have seen historically also in various other states that sometimes the results of Lok Sabha are different from Vidhan Sabha, because in India, Indian voters are very informed voters. When they vote, they know what issues they are actually voting for. So apart from a lot of issues that the voter might face on the ground, apart from the fact that there could be emotional voters, apart from the fact that there could be some legacy issues or legacy voters believe in a particular ideology that they may be voting for. But yes, come what may, come what the result may be tomorrow, Anand, this Maharashtra election, Maharashtra 2024 election, is a very important election going forward for a lot of leaders, for a lot of, I would say, for a lot of ideologies, and it will decide naturally the fate for a lot of people who are involved in a state which actually contributes 15% of the GDP of the state.
Well, that's the bigger point. The contribution to Bharat's growth, one of the biggest growth engines is Maharashtra. The state that is touted to touch and become a 1 trillion economy on its own is Maharashtra. And for that to happen, you need to have a steady boat. You need to have a clear vision, and you need to have those who are not going to be constantly checking कि भाई मेरी कुर्सी की टांग कोई नीचे से खींच के तो नहीं लेके गया, मैं कितने दिन इधर टिकूंगा या टिकूंगी. So that part is very, very critical, and let's just hope that the voter has given a clear mandate. The 9.7 crore voter base, of which about 6.5 crore have gone to the polls, they have cast a mandate which gives absolute clarity and no room for aji-baji and resort politics and chartered flights. Let's just hope that. And there is no betrayal of the voters' mandate once the dust settles on counting day.
In Jharkhand, you have so many districts, and in Jharkhand, all the counting for assembly elections, they normally happen at the district headquarters. That's right.
So that means 309 counting centers, and we are going to have people. And how are they going to send you the information and take us through that?
So this is a very simple and robust system, and it got developed in last 2 decades after several experiments. So this is our live result hub, a special software. Look at our IT supervisor. He is constantly monitoring the entire system, and this is the hotline we have from each and every assembly constituency counting center. Our own representative, whenever he gets an update about every round, he just informs through this hotline, and we capture the same in our system, and this same got reflected in the entire network.
So how do you capture? Let's say
So,
we
so
are
for,
looking
for
at,
so for
we
example,
are
if you
in
look
Ahyanagar
at the
in Maharashtra.
Illanagar, then if we have a trend from that particular center, then we can select the particular assembly constituency. Then you have all the candidates. Just look at the names of all the candidates you have. If, for example, one particular candidate is leading, so we have to just click this his name, and then you have to put in the margin he
Whatever is the number.
exactly.
And then those become leads. If he's leading, then the candidate is leading, he or she is leading, then it becomes a lead submission, or it becomes a win submission once the final counting is over. But how is it that sometimes we are faster than the EC?
Because in election commission there is a formal way of communicating. For example, if counting of a particular round, if it got completed, then it has to be signed by several officials, then it has to be communicated to the election commission at Delhi. But in our case, our representative, whenever he gets the information about the completion of a round, he simply informs us. So we are much faster than the election commission.
So much faster than the election commission. So, ladies and gentlemen, on result day, what's going to happen is every other channel is going to inflate here, deflate there, inflate here, deflate there. Eventually, they're going to come and settle on the News 18 numbers. The News 18 network numbers are the ones that you should trust. So, why go anywhere else? Settle with us. Enjoy counting day right here on News 18. Oh, it's result day and preparations are in full swing. I thought let's just take a look around and walk about at perhaps the place which is buzzing with activity on counting day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm right at the heart of the News 18 live result hub. That's the Jharkhand part of it, the Jharkhand hub, and where I am is the Maharashtra hub. And there is going to be a hectic activity right through counting. But one aspect which is important, and also the election commission talked about it, and that was about the authenticity of numbers and news networks. All right, the big question is, of course, the voter turnout. Remember, it's 66%, which is 5% more than what we saw in 2019. Let's take a look at the seats that are above 70%. That's 4% or more than what the state average is. The constituencies that are more than 70%, you can see a whole bunch here in Vidarbha, which is important. These are agrarian seats. These are seats that have been distressed by farmer anger, if you will, whether it's on soybean crop, whether it's on cotton crop. So this is the bunch of seats here in the agrarian distress belt in Vidarbha. Then you have this whole bunch of seats in Marathwada, which are again hugely important because of the agitation around Manoj Jarangi Patil, the Maratha reservation agitation that's happening in places like Latur, Beed, Nanded, etc. But what is interesting is this time around, if you focus on this area, which is Western Maharashtra, which has always been sort of the backyard, the gud of Sharad Pawar, the sugarcane belt, this belt is suddenly seeing huge increase in voter turnout. Kolhapur, for example, here is Kolhapur, which is an urban, very rich, sort of middle class constituencies, but they are suddenly seeing a spike. Kolhapur has the biggest turnout across the state of Maharashtra. Kolhapur, Satara, Sangli, the Western Maharashtra belt, which is a bit odd. Now, the only plausible explanation is that in Western Maharashtra, it's a fight for identity. Both Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar are fighting for who will control the legacy of the NCP. And that's why voters from both sides of the aisle,
from the Sharad Pawar faction and from the Ajit Pawar faction have turned up in large numbers. That's why in an odd sort of development, you have in Western Maharashtra a large number of people turning up. Now, the other interesting factor, of course, is women voters. Women voters, because Ladli Behna, which is or Ladki Behna, which is the Maharashtra Mukhyamantri Yojana, where 1,500 rupees is paid to women. 5 installments have been meted out, 7,500 rupees. If you look at this belt, which is the Konkan belt, Raigad, Sindhudurg, the outskirts of Mumbai, sort of the coastal belt of Western Maharashtra, that entire belt is, of course, important as far as Ladki Behna is concerned. This has always been a Shiv Sena belt. Now, whether or not paying 1,500 rupees to women will actually flip them from Shiv Sena to Shinde Sena, that is going to be interesting. The other area where you've seen an impact of Ladki Behna, and we go back to the more women voters, is in Vidarbha.
It's an update about every round. It just informs through this outline, and we capture the same in our system, and this same got reflected in the entire network.
How do you capture? Let's say
So,
we
so
are
for,
looking
for,
at
so for
we
example,
are
if
at
we look at the Illanagar, then if we have a trend from that particular center, then we can select the particular assembly constituency. Then you have all the candidates. Just look at the names of all the candidates you have. If, for example, one particular candidate is leading, so we have to just click this his name, and then you have to put in the margin he
whatever the number.
exactly.
And then those become leads. If he's leading, then the candidate is leading, he or she is leading, then it becomes a lead submission or it becomes a win submission once the final counting is over. But how is it that sometimes we are faster than the EC?
Because in election commission there is a formal way of communicating. For example, if counting of a particular round, if it got completed, then it has to be signed by several officials, then it has to be communicated to the election commission at Delhi. But in our case, our representative, whenever he gets the information about the completion of a round, he simply informs us. So we are much faster than the election commission.
So much faster than the election commission. So, ladies and gentlemen, on result day, what's going to happen is every other channel is going to inflate here, deflate there, inflate here, deflate there. Eventually, they're going to come and settle on the News 18 numbers. The News 18 network numbers are the ones that you should trust. So, why go anywhere else? Settle with us. Enjoy counting day right here on News 18.
All right, the big question is, of course, the voter turnout. Remember, it's 66%, which is 5% more than what we saw in 2019. Let's take a look at the seats that are above 70%. That's 4% or more than what the state average is. The constituencies that are more than 70%, you can see a whole bunch here in Vidarbha, which is important. These are agrarian seats. These are seats that have been distressed by farmer anger, if you will, whether it's on soybean crop, whether it's on cotton crop. So this is the bunch of seeds here
another 30 odd seats, 63%. And this, viewers, is the only place where the numbers have actually come down, but not in some VIP constituencies. And that's where we're going to focus also now. Worli, for example, Aditya Thackeray versus Milind Deora versus Sandeep Deshpande, perhaps the definitive battle of this election. Even here, viewers, even here in Worli, in Mumbai proper, the jump is almost 8%, viewers, in turnout from last time. Baramati sees Ajit Pawar versus Yogendra Pawar, the clash of the Pawars, viewers. Here also a bump up. Vandre East, Zishan Siddiqui in the news because of his father's assassination. And Varun Sardesai. Here also, viewers, a jump. Nagpur Southwest, Devendra Fadnavis against Praful Godhade. Again, a jump of almost 4.5%. Many other constituencies, Eknath Shinde's constituency has seen a jump of 10% almost. Those are the numbers. Sakoli, Nana Patole, who is the Congress's helmsman in the state. Even here, there's been a little bit of an increase. What we're trying to get at, viewers, is that people, decrease rather, which could mean many things. But viewers, when an election is showing this larger gain, then viewers, you have to ask yourself that maybe something has changed. And perhaps realizing that the turnout bump might in fact mean that the NDA voter that didn't come out during the Lok Sabha election has decided to be counted. The India bloc has begun to book resorts. Yes, book resorts and hold meetings with independents. Both show signs that it might not be doing as well as it expected to do. After all, viewers, if you're winning, your MLAs are not foolish enough to cross over, are they? And jeopardize their chances of being in power. 4 of 5 elections, beginning with the Lok Sabha, where it has failed to defeat the BJP, the NDA. Losses in Maharashtra and a poor showing in Jharkhand will raise some questions. And these are, viewers, and they're on your screens. Can India hold together if 4 of its key constituents suffer setbacks? Does the Congress have the most stake on the outcome? Will India allies seek to decouple from the Congress if it ends up on the losing side? They might see it as a liability. In Haryana, it certainly was. In Jammu, the National Conference doesn't want to share power with their ally now. Can Rahul rally opposition effectively as LOP when acceptability of his own message is in question? Will India concede that its constitution is in danger? Theme has been rejected if it fares poorly. And will the losses in states weaken India's authority to oppose key reforms? These are the fundamental questions, viewers. Forget about all these petty, who's going to be chief minister. Let the others talk about that. So the latest exit poll predictions that seem to put the NDA or the Mahayuti ahead in Maharashtra are from Lok Niti CSDS and of course Access My India. But why should we believe these exit polls? What have pollsters seen that's convinced them to back the Mahayuti? Let's ask the pollsters themselves. But before that, a quick sense of their projections. Let's look at CSDS Lok Niti projections. Once again, the MVA 39%. They're only projecting vote share, not seat share, viewers. Mahayuti, they put at a whopping 4% ahead of the MVA. The others get a substantial 18%. The margin of error plus minus 2.6%. So traditionally, many people sort of use the 3% barometer, but here 2.6%. The other significant number, viewers, but the gap between the NDA and the India alliance is 4%. Remember, in the last election, in the Lok Sabha election in Maharashtra, when you project the numbers onto an assembly map, the vote share was only 1%. And with just that 1%, we saw that the Maha Aghadi actually got a larger number of seats. Now, let's quickly go across to the two pollsters and get a sense really of where they stand, why they're projecting these numbers, how confident they are. Pradeep Gupta, Access My India. A lot of Indians know you. you've been seen many times on camera crying tears of joy when you've got it right, and sometimes tears of anguish when you haven't quite got it right. One of the instances, of course, was famously the Lok Sabha elections, and then obviously the last election that took place in Haryana, where everyone sort of copped out. Now, Mr. Gupta, your numbers are quite astounding. You seem to be giving a clean sweep, and the numbers are on our screens, a clean sweep to the NDA, 178 to 200 seats. And that's a hell of a number, because that seems to suggest that they will do the best that they ever have done. I mean, when the BJP was with the United Shiv Sena, they never got these numbers. So, where are all these projections coming from, and why should we believe you?
So I'll answer your last question first. Why people should believe us the Axis by India? One should see the track record of any product and services. So mine is also a market research services, and which I and predict. So our track record till today says that we have predicted about 77 elections in last 11 years, and we could call correctly 71 out of 77, and 6 occasions you can say we were unsuccessful to call the result right. I mean, so this is something viewer has to decide what to consume, how much to believe, how much not to. I mean, beyond this I can't say anything. But as far as Axis by India, rigorous process is there. It is Harvard Business School case study, and our methodology, we go to each and every constituency of the state, and we have done in this Maharashtra election about 35,000 interviews spread across 1,700 village and cities. And so this is something very robust exercise which I do. And yeah, so this is what we do, and our monitoring and systems and processes are all in place for us to come out with this number. So whatever numbers is coming, we don't see it, and we try and do the analysis, the deep analysis, and based on whatever come,
Okay.
we put forward the numbers.
In some of these regions, there's been a complete reversal. In Vidarbha, for example, from the Lok Sabha result, you seem to give the NDA almost the numbers that the MVA had got.
Yes.
This is a huge reversal. What is it that who rather has voted en bloc really for the NDA in Vidarbha?
Vidarbha particular, if you are talking about, there are about substantial 17% Dalit population clubbed with around about 13% Kunbi, and Adivasis about 11%. So all put together, 11% swing in favor of Mahayuti from Mahagadi among the Dalits, and about 15% swing in favor of Mahayuti from Agadi across the state I am talking about. And you will see that not only in Vidarbha, except Western Maharashtra, in all other regions,
Yeah.
the lead is around 2/3, 1/3 kind of a thing. Only in Western Maharashtra, out of 58 seats, we are giving 36 to Mahayuti and 21 to Agadi, meaning about 60-40% ratio difference.
So look, Western Maharashtra is obviously the place where the two Senas, the two NCPs really are going at each other. So are you projecting which of these NCPs is going to do better? Sharad Pawar, you think, is ahead, or is it Ajit Pawar?
So see, for this question, it's a very tricky kind of a question. There are two aspects to it. One is where NCP versus NCP direct fights are there, which are about 41 seats, state fight. NCP Ajit Pawar likely to win 22 seats, and NCP Sharad Pawar likely to win 14 seats. This is one data point. 22 to Ajit Pawar, 14 to Sharad Pawar, and BJP is also there, about 3. Friendly fight is also there. Okay, so this is the about 40. But when we ask people whom you have voted in last assembly election when NCP was united, and also the Shiv Sena, and whom you are likely to vote this time, what is the answer across the state? I am revealing now. 43 for Ajit Pawar. Those 100% voted for united NCP, 43 gone to Ajit Pawar, and 49 gone to Sharad Pawar, and about 8% to others. So these are the numbers.
Wow.
To answer
So
this.
So the two Pawar factions will continue to fight it out to establish their dominance. That's an amazing number. Well, Pradeep Gupta, let's hope that you get it right, at least for your sake. Are you at all now seeing this really as a make or break election for your own credibility?
I do understand this is not make or break, but twice consecutively, you can say Lok Sabha also, and now to Haryana election, we couldn't call it correctly. So this is something very important for us. But in between, just on the 5th November, on a lighter note, we could call US election spot on correctly, though everybody was saying tough fight and Kamala Harris is ahead. But we clearly said it was broadcast and published in all US media. Access My America predicting clear win for the Trump, and which is the case. So anyway, so every election is important, like a sports, like a match, or like an exam. Sometimes we success, sometimes otherwise. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, let me also bring in a fellow pollster, Sanjay Kumar, Lokniti CSDS. Now, you haven't projected seats, Mr. Kumar. You only projected vote shares. You say that the conversion always is quite tricky. Now, are these vote shares, again, I mean, those are big numbers, 4% difference between the India and the NDA, again, leaning towards the NDA. Will these numbers hold up? Will they hold on, the vote share, till tomorrow?
Rahul, I'm not saying that I'm absolutely confident that the vote share which we have projected would hold on. There is always a margin of error which we have calculated. Look, for Maharashtra, we have projected that Mahavikas Agadi is likely to get 39% vote, and Mahayuti is likely to get 43% vote, and the others are getting 18% vote. And there is a margin of error of 2.6%. It could well be within the margin of error. There is also a possibility, who knows, that our margin of error is much beyond what we have calculated. There is a possibility, but I am confident at this moment at least, because I have looked at the profile of the sample which we have collected. We have done it very, very systematically. But yes, there is no guarantee. I can't say that I can be 100% sure that our estimates of vote share is going to be absolutely correct.
So you're hedging your bets. Pradeep Gupta is saying, look, I've done my homework. I'm going to go ahead and say that yes, I've got it right. But look, I mean, these are all different perspectives, and I believe that these two pollsters have actually put their heads down this time, because they have set themselves higher standards. So let's hope that they get it right. But one final question, I want to bring back Sanjay Kumar ji. Now, regions and demographics. Is the spread even for the MVA or for the Mahayuti, or are there big variations as we go from region to region? Pradeep Gupta is erring pretty much in every region towards the Mahayuti. What about you?
No, it's not even. Yes, there are regions where, like Mahayuti is ahead of Mahavikas Agadi. It's like in Marathwada region, it is the, say, Mahavikas Agadi which has a slight lead. But there are regions where Mahayuti is ahead of Vikas Agadi. If you look at the caste communities, among the Marathas, there is a shift tilt in favor of Mahayuti. But if you look at the Kunbi vote, which seems to be more or less equally divided between the two communities, more or less on more or less on the lines which we expect. The upper caste vote is tilted in favor of the Mahayuti, and if you look at the Muslims, the tribals, it is tilted in favor of the Mahavikas Agadi. So yes, there are some patterns which is emerging from the poll which we have conducted at this moment.
Okay, so two divergent, at least when the demographics are concerned. You're saying the tribals are going towards the Mahavikas Agadi, and at least what we heard Mr. Gupta say, that he believes that the consolidation is happening towards the Mahayuti. So two differences, very interesting. Mr. Gupta, what is the number that you're going to be looking at tomorrow to convince yourself that this is going according to your projection? What is the thing? The conversion, what is it?
Minimum 178 for Mahayuti, minimum. That is something our range starts. So at least 178 Mahayuti should get. That's the number we will be looking in case of Maharashtra. And in Jharkhand, our number range start for India Alliance 49 to 59. So 49 seats out of 81 seats I will be looking forward to get in Jharkhand.
Okay, well, tomorrow's verdict will also be a verdict on these two gentlemen. So thank you very much for joining me, viewers. I'll tell you, this is a very important election, and that's why we can't discount anything. Even the fact that the exit polls have got it wrong is not something we're going to discount, because, as someone was saying yesterday, the law of averages can sometimes kick in, and who knows, it might just be their lucky day. I leave it at this, viewers.
Darba, which is important. These are agrarian seats. These are seats that have been distressed by farmer anger, if you will, whether it's on soybean crop, whether it's on cotton crop. So this is the bunch of seats here in the agrarian distress belt in Vidarbha. Then you have this whole bunch of seats in Marathwada, which are again hugely important because of the agitation around Manoj Jarangi Patil, the Maratha reservation agitation that's happening in places like Latur, Beed, Nanded, etc. But what is interesting is this time around, if you focus on this area, which is Western Maharashtra, which has always been sort of the backyard, the gud of Sharad Pawar, the sugarcane belt, this belt is suddenly seeing huge increase in voter turnout. Kolhapur, for example, here is Kolhapur, which is an urban, very rich, sort of middle class constituencies, but they are suddenly seeing a spike. Kolhapur has the biggest turnout across the state of Maharashtra. Kolhapur, Satara, Sangli, the Western Maharashtra belt, which is a bit odd. Now, the only plausible explanation is that in Western Maharashtra, it's a fight for identity. Both Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar are fighting for who will control the legacy of the NCP. And that's why voters from both sides of the aisle, from the Sharad Pawar faction and from the Ajit Pawar faction, have turned up in large numbers. That's why in an odd sort of development, you have in Western Maharashtra a large number of people turning up. Now, the other interesting factor, of course, is women voters. Women voters, because Ladli Behna, which is or Ladki Behna, which is the Maharashtra Mukhyamantri Yojana, where 1,500 rupees is paid to women. 5 installments have been meted out, 7,500 rupees. If you look at this belt, which is the Konkan belt, Raigad, Sindhudurg, the outskirts of Mumbai, sort of the coastal belt of Western Maharashtra, that entire belt is, of course, important as far as Ladki Behna is concerned. This has always been a Shiv Sena belt. Now, whether or not paying 1,500 rupees to women will actually flip them from Shiv Sena to Shinde Sena, that is going to be interesting. The other area where you've seen an impact of Ladki Behna, and we go back to the more women voters, is in Vidarbha. Again, you've seen large number of women, anecdotally speaking, large number of women coming out in areas around Vidarbha, Akola, Gadchiroli, all of these places where you can see the difference. 24 seats to the BJP last time, 15 seats to the Congress, a difference of almost 8% between the two major formations. And again, you're seeing this in the Vidarbha region where more women are turning out than men. But the most critical factor, and I think this really explains the voter turnout versus where this voter turnout is actually turning out. If you look at the NCP versus NCP Sharad Pawar fights, interestingly, in Maharashtra this time, it's not in Vidarbha, it's not in Marathwada, it's actually in Western Maharashtra where you're seeing the highest voter turnout. So there are 38 constituencies where it's NCP Sharad Pawar versus NCP Ajit Pawar, of which 18 constituencies, more than half of it, is actually seeing the highest voter turnout. So whether it is Baramati, where Ajit Pawar is taking on Yugendra Pawar, whether it is the neighboring constituency of Indrapur, whether it is Phaltan, whether it is the constituency of Madha, all of these places in Western Maharashtra, you are seeing because it's NCP versus NCP, a higher voter turnout. Voter turnout 5% more than the state average. So 18 out of the 38 seats where NCP, Sharad Pawar and NCP, Ajit Pawar are fighting it out, you are seeing higher voter turnout. The other big factor, and this is important to remember because if you look at where the ministers are contesting, there are about 30 odd ministers. We've managed to block 28 out of 288. That's 10% of the strength of the assembly. BJP won 19, Congress won 9 last time around. There are some seats in Western Maharashtra, a couple of seats in Mumbai, a lot of seats in Northern Maharashtra here, and again, a few seats here in Vidarbha. A large number of these seats were won by NCP, the United NCP last time around. If you look at the BJP's sort of split, there were 10 seats to the BJP.